Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's second video, doing a European outlook for today's second video. So as always on a Thursday, we're having a look at the weather for the next week to 10 days in detail for Europe, and I should get on that for you in a moment. Just to say about the first video today was 6 AM upload, and we've got 10 to 14 day coming up through later on this afternoon as well. Please like, share, subscribe on videos. Thank you so very much everybody for doing that. I hope you're having a lovely Thursday as well. Right, going to start off with the situation across Europe today then. So here we go, got high pressure dominating in the west. Big area of high pressure sitting over top of the UK and Ireland, as it has for several days, even weeks now. Trough of low pressure into North Scandinavia, bringing a push of west or northwesterly winds there. And then we've got low pressure down across southern Europe in the Mediterranean. Overhead temperatures generally quite mild across most areas. Of course, over this ridge of high pressure, it is a little bit chilly. Coldest overhead temperatures are in the far north and northeast of Europe, but cool down through the Mediterranean and into southern parts of Europe. So we've got heavy showers, thunderstorms, and longer spells of rain through the Med, stretched out from the Balearic Islands to Italy. More heavy showers and storms down across the far southeastern portion of Europe as well, around Greece, just extending up towards the Balkans. But of course, on a high pressure, most areas are dry. Lots of dry weather around today until we run into some snow across parts of Norway. A few wintry showers perhaps through southern parts of Finland. Temperatures today are coldest in the extreme north through Norway, up in northern parts of Sweden and northern Finland, and then over into the northwest of Russia. Pretty chilly right down in the Mediterranean, and most other areas probably near normal with the temperatures, a little bit on the colder side though the further east you go. Tomorrow, Friday, we'll take that high pressure northwards and start moving it or retrogressing it towards Greenland and Iceland, allowing colder air to begin to dig into northern Europe across Scandinavia. So upper air temperatures are becoming cold across Scandinavia, and notice this large mass of very cold air gathering in the Norwegian Sea. Otherwise, the upper air temperatures are very similar to those of today. Again, we see a lot of dry weather around under the high pressure in many parts of Europe. What precipitation there is primarily snow across the far north through Norway and, pushing across the Baltic Sea into towards southern parts of Finland. Rain sinks, so probably there. Wintry mix. And then further southwards we've got snow, we've got rain, I should say heavy showers and thunderstorms through the Mediterranean, and just moving over into the Greek islands as well. But the large portions of Europe are dominated by high pressure once again, and temperature wise it looks cold or very cold across the extreme north of Europe. Otherwise probably quite close to average with the temperatures in many areas, but cool down across southern parts of Europe. High pressure is in the Atlantic and increasingly pushing towards Greenland and Iceland on Saturday. Colder air is digging in all the time across northern and northeastern parts of Europe. Upper air temperature looking much colder now over Scandinavia and extending into the Baltic Sea states of Latvia, Estonia and Lithuania as well. Colder air beginning to dig southwards into Germany and Poland too. And even a little bit starting to get into northern and eastern parts of the UK. Further south, again, the upper air temperatures are very similar to how they are at the moment. So more heavy showers and storms over on the eastern side of the Mediterranean. Again, otherwise a lot of dry weather around on Saturday until you run into snow. That will be coming southwards through the Baltic Sea into the Baltic Sea states and then into the west of Russia, with further snow heading in towards parts of Norway and Sweden as well, probably through the course of Saturday. Temperatures looking very cold across northern Europe by Saturday. Bitterly cold air sinking southwards through Scandinavia and into Baltic Sea states as well. Begin to turn colder through parts of Poland and Germany into the Low Countries, back into northern parts of Scotland too by Saturday. Further south of that, temperatures again probably close to average, but rather on the cool side across southern parts of Europe. Well, by the time we get through into Sunday, we've got a proper, fully fledged Greenland high, as the high pressure that's currently sitting over the UK and Ireland has successfully gone into a retrograde, and we find a big blocking feature then setting up over Greenland and Iceland, with low pressure, big trough of low pressure sitting over and to the east of Europe, bringing bitterly cold air in from the Arctic. So the upper air temperatures are looking very cold across the whole of northern and eastern Europe as well. The cold air extending down, well, bitterly cold air extending down through Poland in towards the Ukraine, into Denmark as well by the time we get through in Sunday, with the UK, Ireland, France, Low Countries, Germany also turning colder at the same time. Further southwards, southern Europe is actually turning a little bit less cold, maybe, with those upper air temperatures. Snow across northern Europe, showers or longer spells of snow through Scandinavia. So that wintry weather backing into the Low Countries, Denmark and northern parts of Germany as well, perhaps by Sunday. Certainly wintry showers possible there. And we begin to see wintry showers possibly turning up in northern, northeastern parts of the UK. But heavy showers and thunderstorms moving more over towards the extreme eastern portion of the Mediterranean by Sunday. So starting to move east of Greece, really, heading into Turkey. More showers begin to get going through parts of Spain and Portugal as well. So gradually turning more unsettled by the end of the weekend. Again, bitterly cold across much of northern and northeast Europe. That cold air gradually extending further southwards and westwards with time. On into Monday, we find most parts of Europe looking very cold. Again, a big blocking feature around Greenland with low pressure, trough of low sitting across most of northern, central and also Western Europe. The upper air temperatures look cold through much of northern Europe, right way from Ireland to the UK, all the way over to Russia. The core of the cold is sitting there over Scandinavia and also northeast Europe. Further southwards, the upper air temperatures are milder, but also more unsettled down across southern Europe, increasingly so as that milder air and the cold air starts to clash. We begin to generate heavy rain, maybe thunderstorms in towards Portugal. Those will push eastwards into Spain and possibly through the central bowl of the Med as well. Further northwards, we're primarily talking about snow across Scandinavia and northeast Europe. There will be snow around in places, and a wintry mix of rain, sleet and snow pushing southwards through Ireland, the UK, in towards France and the Low Countries as well on Monday. Again, very cold across much of northern Europe on Monday. Bitterly cold air there, and becoming colder in many northern and also western parts of Europe. The southern part of Europe, though, looks significantly less cold. That's a scenario for Tuesday. Low pressure developing around the UK, Ireland, France, Low Countries and Germany. Meanwhile, Scandinavia sat under a trough of low pressure with very cold air. Notice pressure is lowering into southern parts of Europe as well as we get this clash of air masses between the very cold air across the north and the west of Europe and these milder temperatures coming up from Africa and towards the Mediterranean. The contrast will produce low pressure, and that brings lots of heavy showers, long spells of rain and thunderstorms through much of the Med, from Spain, Portugal, right way over towards Italy. Could be some really heavy rain and thunderstorms in places, and that will turn increasingly to snow, of course, as it hits the cold air on the northern edge through southeastern parts of France, particularly around the Alpine regions and whatnot, into Switzerland, for example. Heavy snow there can be expected, as well as the Austrian Alps. Further northwards, we'll have snow across Scandinavia and the northeast Europe, and rain, sleet, snow, probably turning increasingly towards snow through the UK, Ireland, into the Low Countries, western parts of Germany and northern France as well. The temperatures look bitterly cold across north of Europe, Scandinavia, and many parts of northwest Europe looking quite cold with those temperatures. At the same time, southern southeastern Europe looks relatively mild in this southeastern corner. Wednesday looking very wintry in much of northern and western and central Europe. The area of low pressure will be moving eastwards into Denmark and Germany to the north and east. Of that, we're putting in a very cold east to northeasterly wind. So again, the upper air temperatures bitterly cold across Scandinavia, cold through much of northern and western Europe as well. Southern and southeastern Europe are looking significantly milder on the southern and eastern flank of this area of low pressure. So lots of heavy showers, lots of spells of rain and thunderstorms possible through the Mediterranean and they'll extend over the Adriatic into the Balkans, southeast Europe, of course, the mountainous areas of the Balkans, because there's some snow about. Further northwards, lots of heavy snow from Germany and Denmark through to Poland, and then eastwards into the west part of Ukraine, also beginning to push up toward the Baltic Sea states as well. We find that Scandinavia sat under the very coldest of the year. Not that much snow, but it will be bitterly cold, and of course any precipitation that does fall will be falling as snow. And then further westwards in towards Ireland, the UK, France, Low Countries here, we can expect primarily snow, I think, by the time we get through to Wednesday. Maybe rain and sleet towards the far south and west of Ireland and southwestern England. And the temperature on Wednesday is looking very cold again through most parts of northern Europe. Bitter cold there, and just generally cold really through much of western Europe as well. The mildest temperatures will be in the far south and southeastern portions of Europe. Into Thursday, we take that area of low pressure over onto the eastern side of Europe, but we're still sitting within cold or very cold air across many parts of Europe, actually away from the south, where it will be milder. The upper air temperatures looking generally mild through Spain, Portugal, into the Mediterranean as well. So southern Europe generally quite mild or even relatively warm. But further north was really cold across Scandinavia, and most parts of northern and western Europe looking cold as well. Further heavy showers and thunderstorms with longer spells of rain into Spain, Portugal. Very wet pattern, mist for Spain, quite useful. Further northwards, that will turn readily to snow. It bumps into the cold air across France. And then to the north of that, it really is a case of wintry showers, snow showers across much of northern and western Europe. And we have these longer spells of snow here over on the eastern side of Europe as well. Temperatures looking very cold across northern Europe, once more bitterly cold air across many parts of northern and western Europe. Southern, southeastern Europe, they're looking quite a lot milder. And then I'll just extend you on to day 10, so that's next Friday. Great, again, most parts of Europe looking really cold, and into the weekend of the 11th and 12th of March, the cold air is maintained. Low pressure trying to get in from off the Atlantic, but really struggling to do so. So away from the far west and southwest of Europe, and by that we're talking about the far south of Ireland, southwestern tip of England, western, southwestern France and Spain and Portugal. Away from there, most places are still looking very cold, even into the weekend of the 11th and the 12th of March. An interesting and wintry week to come. That's your European Outlook for this week. If you enjoyed the video and found it useful and informative, then please can you like, share and subscribe. We will be back later on with your 10 to 14 day update. But for this week's European Outlook, that's all for now. And thanks for watching.